October 21st, shortly after 1:30 a.m. at a bus stop in Chicago, an altercation occurs between two men. This results in one of them being shot and killed instantly. The unknown shooter flees the scene and spots a man sitting in an SUV nearby. The vehicle is running and warming up as the driver had just left a bar. The shooter enters this car and fires one bullet at the driver, then throws him out onto the street and drives away. The driver was shot and later dies in hospital. Law enforcement determined that they could track the vehicle using its OnStar system, and they are able to determine its location. The SUV is tracked to a gas station in Kenosha, Wisconsin. At around 11 a.m. the same day, a Chicago detective contacts Kenosha County Police and alerts them to these details. Kenosha County deputies are dispatched immediately to investigate, and the four officers who are nearest to the gas station are Colin Coultrip, Juan Avila, Patrick Wayland, and K-9 officer Terry Tift. Deputy Colin is the first to arrive, and he observes that the vehicle in question matches the number plate provided to him. He verifies that there is a person sitting in the front of the vehicle and decides to park on the other side of the parking lot to wait for the other officers to arrive. And as he does this, he continues observing the vehicle.
As I'm observing him, I could see a lot of movement in the front passenger area, front driver's seat area. And as I'm staying there, the brake lights keep activating on, off the entire time I was sitting there behind him.
At some point, Deputy Avila arrives on scene, correct?
Correct.
What decision was made?
That we were going to make a felony traffic stop.
And I know it's hard. Can you bring the microphone back up again?
That we were going to make a felony traffic stop.
What is a felony traffic stop versus pulling someone over for a speeding ticket?
Okay, so a standard traffic stop is one squad car, one car. You put your lights on, they go over to the side, you come up behind them, and you approach the car. The idea of a felony traffic stop is trying to use multiple vehicles. You get them set alongside, and you basically make a funnel with your vehicles. And you get cover from other officers. Like when you're getting your traffic ticket, the cop's not coming out with his gun drawn for a speeding ticket, but for a high-risk stop or a felony traffic stop, then guns are going to be drawn, and we're going to take different positions to cover each other as we try to, in the best-case scenario, bring that person that's being stopped and bring them back in between the two vehicles that are funneled this way, and then effectuate the arrest from there. We both said that we wanted to wait for Deputy Tift to arrive.
And why Deputy Tift?
Because he had the K-9 unit with him.
Well, as I was arriving, as I was heading west, I saw Deputy Wine come in from the west heading eastbound. I was westbound, and then I saw the other two squads in the parking lot already. So I figured I would just go right by them and then meet up with them and then formulate a plan of attack on how we were going to handle this situation.
So your K-9 is K-9 Riggs, correct?
Correct.
How long have you been with K-9 Riggs?
I got him in the fall of 2014.
Deputy Tift said, hey, we're going to do a high-risk stop now. So we all made the formation that we're trained to do for a high-risk stop and approach the vehicle.
I knew that people were going in and out of the gas station, and I didn't want whoever was in this car to jump out and have us firing back and forth through this parking lot with all these people. So I made the decision that we were going to move in now and do a high-risk stop. We didn't have time to wait for any other officers.
So you're the one who made the call, we're going now, right?
So yeah, we're going now.
As we initiate the traffic stop, we drive through the gas station with all of our lights activated, stop behind the suspect vehicle, go on the intercom, start giving the suspect vehicle and operator commands.
Driver, step out of the vehicle with your hands up. Hands up. Hands up and stop moving.
As I was chasing him, I was in the truck, and I came through between his vehicle and the dump truck. As I was by the dump truck area, I heard someone be yelling from behind me that they were to stop K-9.
I try to get Deputy Coultrip's attention as the dog starts running and tell him, dog, dog.
Dog, 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 dog.
I stop at the fence line. Deputy Tiff and K-9 Riggs go through and lead the way.
Deputy Coltrip stopped. I ran in front of him and followed him, giving him commands because I seen him reaching in his pocket.
I assumed it was a gun. I yelled to the other deputies, he's reaching for something, he's reaching for something, I think it's a gun. He continued to run.
Usually when we're running after somebody at training, he knows to go bite that guy. So I didn't have to say anything to him. I just dropped the leash and he ran.
Right before the K-9 Rigs apprehends the suspect, however, the suspect reaches around with his right arm underneath his left elbow and his torso and fires one shot directly at us.
And I had actually seen the muzzle blast just over the sights of my firearm, so if I was to fire at him, that's where my muzzle blast would have went. But by looking at the other way, I could see that the muzzle blast that was coming at me was basically in the same direction.
What was your reaction to seeing that muzzle flash in your direction?
I thought I had been hit. I took a moment, took a good evaluation of my body, thought about, okay, I didn't move, nothing moved. Did it hit me? Kind of glanced over my body very quick, realized, from here down, nothing. And then at that moment, I had figured, if he probably, maybe he got me in the head. And I might start losing blood pressure shortly. And I remember thinking, possibility of seeing blood come down my face is very likely. Didn't happen, but at that moment, that's what I thought.
He fires his weapon, and almost instantaneously, K-9 Rigs takes down the suspect, and that's when 2-3 shots occur again.
Are they your shots?
No.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Riggs is trained to go full speed and then launch and bite whatever is presented, which he did, and that tumbled the defendant.
So they go tumbling.
Yes.
What do you see next?
I then saw Riggs biting the arm, and then the suspect sit up and then point blank shoot Riggs in the head.
And as K-9 Rigs runs away, the suspect rolls over towards myself and my partners, presents his firearm and points it at us, and that's when I return fire.
God damn it. God damn it.
Did you see where he shot Riggs?
I did not know, but I knew he got him because Riggs has never come off a bite before, and he did come off and then kind of went off into the grass and laid down.
I saw Riggs, his head turned towards me, and I could see blood coming down from the back of his head and all over his face.
From my memory, he ran right past me, and I remember reaching down with my left hand and touching his back as he ran past me.
Riggs, no! Riggs, down! Riggs, down!
In my mind, what I thought was happening was that he was running to what he thought was me and realized it wasn't and kept running, and then he ran right out into Highway 50.
Was traffic going on Highway 50?
Yes.
So what did you do then?
I had to run after him, and then he got into the median area.
Can you show on Exhibit 1?
I can. The dog ran out here and then got into the median area, and I caught up to him maybe about right here, and I just reached and grabbed for his leash, and I caught part of his leash. I had to walk him back, and as I was walking him back, that's when I looked and saw that he had a hole in his forehead. I then realized, I was still kind of in shock seeing my dog get shot, so then I realized I got to get the dog to the vet. And so I told Deputy Avila that Riggs was shot in the head and I got to go.
Can I take orders?
Fuck no! Okay. Hey, this way!
Airport.
I was looking, he never lost consciousness. He kind of just was laying back there.
Here's where they are expecting you. Fuck! God damn it! For the dog. I don't know what it's there. God damn it! Fuck! 14 units. Fucking God damn it! Secure. Secure.
So you drive to Harris Pet Hospital, correct?
I did, yes.
Do you utilize your lights and sirens?
I did, yes.
You said you know where it is. Did you go straight there, or did something else happen?
And I was driving pretty fast, and I went right past it, and then Deputy Wyan had to tell me to come back.
241 Twickenham, where's this at?
Right by subway, you just passed it. Turn around, come back to me.
God damn it! God damn it! Sorry, Rick. Hey, you're right.
0126, go ahead. You can be hit to the hospital.
God damn it! Oh!
You get there, we need to be protected.
No!
And 235, go ahead. 235, sir, additional gunshot to the left arm. 10-4. 276, I'm also in Route West. 4 after that. 10-4-276, I copy you are after that 218.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here.
Check. Make sure he's good. Yeah. Carry your body, you're good.
You guys see the one right here? And we shot on a bunch of times. All right.
K9 Riggs was incredibly lucky. The bullet had passed through his head, missing the brain completely. The bullet also leaves an exit wound, and the dog required no surgery. K9 Riggs makes a full recovery. Back at the scene near the gas station, the shooter was identified as Alan Brown, a man with an extensive criminal history involving aggravated battery, assault, resisting, and drug possession. He sustained several bullet wounds to his hip, leg, and abdomen, and he's rushed from the scene to a hospital where he's treated and also makes a full recovery. Whilst in hospital, though, he was under constant surveillance from deputies, and on October 29th, he attempted to make an escape. He rushes one of the deputies as he makes his way for a stairwell. This attempt to flee was unsuccessful, and he's apprehended before being able to make it to the exit. In Kenosha County, Allen was charged with 3 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety, possession of a firearm by a felon, striking a police animal using a dangerous weapon, mistreatment of animals, failure to comply, and driving a vehicle without the owner's consent. The investigation for the 2 homicides in Chicago is still underway at the time of recording this video, and Allen is a suspect in that case. Unfortunately, no further information is available that I could find, but the charges related to this incident in Wisconsin would see him go to trial, where his defense team would make one of the shortest opening statements that I've ever seen.
Thank you. Who's doing the defense's opening?
It'll be me.
Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as the state mentioned, you're going to hear a lot of evidence and you're going to see a lot of video footage during the course of this trial. All I ask is that you keep an open mind, use your own eyes and ears to determine what happened in this case, and most importantly, I ask that you hold the state to their burden of proof to prove each element of each charge against Mr. Brown beyond a reasonable doubt. I'll be back after all the evidence has been presented, and I will ask that you return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
A short 2-day trial and less than 3 hours of deliberation sees the jury find Allen guilty on all charges. At the time of sentencing, Allen's lawyer said that his client's mental health had deteriorated so drastically that he was at a point where he could no longer communicate. Allen is not present at the sentencing hearing, and the judge postpones until further evaluations are conducted. It's at this point of the video that I'm transitioning away from research and moving now to my own thoughts and opinions on the case. I know there doesn't seem like much to this one, hey, but I'm incredibly interested in who Alan Brown is. I'm certain many more details will emerge if and when he goes to trial for the 2 murders in Chicago. And if he does, I do hope they stream those proceedings. I'm intrigued by the possible circumstances that led him to potentially murdering 2 people in cold blood. People don't just do that. For example, Darrell Brooks and the argument he had with his ex prior, Jason Arant and the grooming of his underage girlfriend, and Mark Gooch with his hatred for the Mennonites. All 3 of these videos I've worked on, and all 3 of these motives were unclear as direct factors into why they did what they did, but each of them fascinating to dive into in their own right. Obviously, learning any of these details wouldn't excuse violent actions on anyone's part, but I am getting similar feelings to when I learned about Travis Reinking and the Waffle House incident. That incident itself seemed like a random attack that saw a man enter a Waffle House at 3 a.m., no clothes on except for an open jacket, and he fired upon innocent people using a rifle. But the series of events that led him to doing this were astonishing to say the least, and I do wonder if there are any similarities here to this case with Alan, especially seeing as the man was reported to have been suffering from severe mental health issues. Whilst working on this trial, I did stream the process to a few people, and I have to say, there was quite a lot of debate about the morality of using animals in dangerous situations like this. Personally, the conversation about animals in the force is a difficult one for me. I can absolutely see the value in police dogs and how they can assist deputies in their line of work. But at the same time, I do feel conflicted. I don't like the idea of putting anyone in harm's way, let alone an innocent creature that doesn't really have an option otherwise. I saw people discussing that some breed of dogs love to work, and this line of work is suited to their personalities. Yet then I heard others saying that there are far more safer options to allow a dog to feel satisfied without placing them in danger. So like I said, it's a tough one for sure, and not one that I can say I've landed on either side of the fence yet. What I'm grateful for though, honing in on this particular incident, is that Deputy Riggs is okay. His partner, Terry, clearly was affected by the possibility of losing him. There was a back and forth that seemed to play out during Terry's testimony. He would speak as though he's a tool of the justice system, therefore his partner, Riggs, is an extension of that tool. But then, in the same sentence, there would be these little glimmers of the human behind that tool. I would catch emotion in his eyes or in certain words as he recalled the visceral moments of almost losing his friend, and it was quite touching to witness. With that being said, that's about all the thoughts I have on this case, hey? It was a really short trial, and not one that went into any deep personal backstory of anyone involved, but I did find it very interesting nonetheless. I hope you did as well. I'd like to give a big thank you to all of my patrons who continue to support me over there. A big thank you actually I'd like to extend to everyone really, even if you're not subscribed here on YouTube. I appreciate your time watching these videos, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you all. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.